Good tricks! Hello again folks, and welcome back to another live game hunting video. This week we are hitting up Norwich, and you will not believe some of the stuff we find. If you are a Star Wars or Pokemon fan, trust me, stick around, you're not going to want to miss this one. For a while, I've been meaning to visit an antique shop in Norwich called Aladdin's Cave. And yeah, I've looked at this place online and it looks super exciting. But you know, a lot of these antique shops don't have video games. But I know for a fact this one does, and it's because if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I went to the carboot and picked up a Sega Pico and load of awesome antique retro gaming stuff. So the guy there said he has a booth at this particular antique shop. It is called Infidels Retro Gaming, and he said anything I find in there, call him up and we can make a deal on it. And you know I'm going to go in there and absolutely scour that place for video games and retro awesomeness, as well as hitting up loads of charity shops and looking anywhere we can for retro and gaming goodness. Before we head out there, let me just remind you, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe. I put new videos out every Saturday live at 5, as well as bonus content, and I really want you folks along for the ride. Now, let's hit those shops. Here we go then, charity shop hunting time. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one after that car boot didn't actually exist. And we're straight in. There's some fairly decent titles here for the PlayStation 3, but I already have all of these in the collection, and you know, they're just not great trading prices. But if you don't want to pay £1 for Modern Warfare 3, you can spin round just here and pay £3 instead if you're a little bit crazy. On to the next shop, and as you can see in the window here, they have some absolute water bargains in here, and it actually leads on to our first pickup of the day, which is this Jurassic Park interactive DVD game. So I've never actually seen this before, and you know, the DVDs were 10 for £1. That's right, 10 for £1. I only wanted to pick this one up, so yeah, picked it up for £1. The next charity shop was quite interesting, as they had a glass case at the front, which I guess they had all their precious things in. So you can see we got some 3DSs here, some 2DS XLs, and yeah, a selection of games. Nothing I'd really put other than the consoles in here, which I think is that pricey. But you know, you always have to check for these piles of DS games, as you never know when there's going to be a hidden Pokemon game in there or some other gem. But on to the next store, and yeah, this was something I have not seen for years. Star Wars Micro Machines. This was super cool. I've really had a hankering recently to pick up some Micro Machines. I used to love them when I was younger, but I think somebody just traded in their entire Star Wars collection to this next charity shop. It is absolutely full of stuff. You can see all these novelizations, which we know of course now are non-canon, which is an absolute crime. But yeah, it was, they had definitely got rid of a lot of their stuff in here. There was a couple of games hidden at the back of the store. Nothing really to write home about here. A lot of sports titles, and yeah, the mother load of Simpsons DVDs. Like, if you are after Simpsons DVDs, this is where they all are. And of course, you know, if this shop was going to have Star Wars stuff, it had to have the DVD of the original trilogy. Very nice indeed. On the topic of Star Wars, here we are then at Aladdin's Cave, the antique shop we had planned to visit today after that car boot fell through. And check out this window display. There is some Star Wars stuff in here for sure. And if you are a retro toy collector, or even just a toy collector, you will be in heaven in here. There is so much cool stuff. Just look at this first cabinet of just Star Wars stuff spinning round, and this is something you don't see very often, an entire cabinet of Doctor Who figures. I don't think I've ever seen so many Doctor Who figures in one go, but this is the main reason we are here. This is Infidels, the retro gaming place that we spoke to at the guy at the car boot, where I picked up that Sega Pico a couple of weeks ago. He said come in, have a look around his store, and he will give me a little bit of a discount. And yeah, there is way too much here. I was absolutely overwhelmed by the amount of stock in here. Taking a deeper look into the cabinet though, and what's this hiding at the back? That's right, not one but 2 Mega CD games. Absolutely incredible. And yeah, this place was just full of cool stuff. Like, look at this. How often do you see a graded Simpsons comic? 9.6, but look at the price of this thing, £200. Again, speaking of comics, if you want comics, you want to get yourself down to Aladdin's Cave. This was absolutely overwhelming. I had no idea where to even start here. There was absolute boxes of comics, but very cool to see. As well as comics, though, there was some strategy guides. The only problem was a lot of these were priced quite highly, and I had to actually wait for the guide to be phoned up to ask how much these were. But I did pick one up, but yeah, I could have picked up a lot more of these if I'd had a little bit more funds for the day. But I wanted to save a bit of money, as I knew I still had quite a few shops to go through. And yeah, this was a cool one. I have recently picked this up on limited run. They re-released it on the Switch. But here, this is a wrestling game I needed to add into my collection. If you have not played this game, it is absolute insanity. I have no idea how or why they made it or why it exists, but I'm glad it did. So the store had a pretty small retro selection, but it really did not prepare me for what was behind the counter. I'm going to go back to the games from here and just build up a little bit of tension, because you are seriously not going to believe what this store had behind the counter. Let me say this now then, I was not prepared for what was behind the counter in this shop. This is not really a video game based shop. They mainly sell music, DVD, stuff like that. As you saw, there was a very small selection of retro games, but you will not believe what was hidden behind the shelf. I could not believe my eyes. Yep, that is right. Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance, essentially in mint condition. Not only that, Duke Nukem Advance. I've never even seen this game. This one did have a little bit of damage, but it was the Pokemon games as well. You got Pokemon Black 2, Pokemon Black, Pokemon White, and the prices of these were absolutely fantastic. Like, I gotta admit, I did go online and check the kind of eBay and CX price for these, and yeah, I got an amazing deal. But of course the hunt continues until we are done, and in the shop across the road I saw this Tomb Raider collectible card game which was brand new and sealed. I was kind of tempted to pick this up, but I just wouldn't want to keep it sealed. I'd want to open all the cards, so yeah, I did leave it behind. £10 was a little bit high for today, and here is something I think most people have forgot or probably don't even know exists. Pokemon magnets. That's right, at the height of the Pokemon craze you could collect magnets. So all day my wife was looking for a copy of Centipede on the PlayStation 1. She's been looking for it for a while, having just fond memories of playing the demo as a child, and she managed to pick this up to kind of fill the void. On the way back to our final stops, we did see this really nice Rick and Morty Paladone light, but it's 20 quid. Again, this is one of those charity shops that literally markets itself as a retro shop. So they kind of charge a bit of a premium for things. As you can see with these comics, I would have picked this one up because the artwork is incredible, but it's literally just a cover, which is pretty disappointing. But I thought, well, I would keep looking and try and find a really cool Star Wars comic to add to my collection. I did manage to find one, which I did really like the cover of. It's just a classic Star Wars design, but £5, I want to pick up comics a little bit cheaper. As I said before, I don't know a lot about them, so I left it behind. So all day I had felt a disturbance in the force, and I knew I had to have a look in Last Level Games, one of my favourite retro gaming shops in the city. And yeah, as soon as I went past this Turtles game in the window, and also this Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller. This has been on my radar for so long. I really, really want this, but I know it's going to be expensive. It's always worth checking out the original Xbox games for kind of those cheaper titles. I'd never heard of this game before. I didn't actually pick it up because I got fully distracted as per usual. But yeah, it's always cool to add cheap original Xbox games to the collection. I did look at this Wii U Skylanders because it is the one that has the random Donkey Kong amiibo with it, but the thing is, these take up a lot of space. This week then was definitely a case of quality over quantity. We may not have got a million pickups, but we picked up some amazing bits, so let's go through them together. Here is that Centipede mini arcade, and yeah, this thing is super cool. The thing is, I don't really know how old this is. Like, the only date I can find on it is 1981, which I'm kind of presuming is not when this is actually made. And yeah, this may have been £10, but as I said, my wife was really looking for Centipede for the PlayStation 1 because we all have those games that just bring us just that joy of nostalgia. So imagine our surprise. I didn't manage to catch this on camera. You will just have to take my word for it. When we were in Last Level Games, they had just had a load of PlayStation 1 games come in, and he was just cleaning them, pricing them, getting them ready to go on the shelf. And what game did he slide onto the desk just as I walked past? Centipede for the PlayStation 1. The game my wife has been looking for absolutely ages. This thing is in fantastic condition. It is complete. The disc isn't in there because it is already in the PlayStation 1 and she's been playing it religiously. This may not be the greatest game of all time, but for this game, it's all about nostalgia. My wife played this back in the day on a demo disc on her PlayStation 1. And, you know, we all just had a finite amount of pocket money back then. You couldn't afford every game you played a demo of. This one she couldn't afford back then, played the demo to death, and now she can finally play the full game. Next up, we have this DVD game, and you know, I know these things are usually absolutely terrible. It says family fun guaranteed, but I don't really think that's a money back guarantee. But yeah, I could have picked up another 9 DVDs and, you know, got 10 DVDs for £1. I just picked this one up for £1, but Jurassic Park interactive DVD game, gotta be worth a punt. The Aladdin's Cave antique shop was pretty incredible, but it was also really overwhelming. I'm definitely going to have to go back and really scour every inch of that place, but I did manage to pick up some awesome bits. First off, we have this Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace strategy guide, and yeah, I just love the kind of shine on this. I love the artwork of this one. This guide was £5, but it's in amazing condition, and just for the cover art alone, it's definitely happy to add this one into the collection. The main reason I had gone to Aladdin's Cave was to look at what Infidels retro gaming store had, and yeah, they did not disappoint. I picked up not 1 but 2 Mega CD games. Well, 3 if you think about it. So first off, we have Cobra Command, and yeah, I don't know very much about a lot of these Mega CD games because I just don't see them very often. So yeah, this one is, these are very difficult to open these cases, so I'm going to be very gentle with this. So you can see we've got Cobra Command that side, but when you flip the game over, we have Soul Feast, the other side. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. And yeah, once again, you open that bit and you have the game there. And inside we have the booklet for that game. So it is missing one of the booklets, but, you know, this is in pretty good condition for a Mega CD game. These games are hard to pick up, and for £10, happy to add it to the collection. I also managed to get a Sega Classics Arcade Collection for the Mega CD, and this has some absolute classic games in there. You can see it has Golden Axe, it has Columns, it has Streets of Rage, and this thing again is in fantastic condition. The problem is with collecting Mega CD games, they do get damaged very easily. You can see this one is complete, it has the disc there and the booklet, and the other side it has another booklet for some bizarre reason and an empty disc. So I think this is meant to only be 1 disc, and I'm really glad to add this one into the collection. As you can see then from these discs, they're both marked at £10 each, but as I said, that guy spoke to me and said, give me a call, we'll make a deal. I did manage to get a couple of quid off these, getting them both for £18, which is an absolute bargain. But you know, the main thing is, you just don't see Mega CD games very often anymore, so really happy to add this into my incredibly small Mega CD collection. 2 things which I absolutely love are wrestling games and obscure games, and this one covers both bases. WWE Crush Hour, and this is the GameCube version, the version I've been looking to pick up for the longest time. This game is absolute insanity. It is such a stupid idea for a game, but it just works. It's so stupid. So essentially, the premise of it is Vince McMahon now owns the whole of television, and everything has become WWE. Cooking shows, like travel shows, and one of the things he's made is like a car combat program for some bizarre reason, and the WWE superstars are fighting to the death in cars. If that hasn't sold you, I don't know what would. This was $9.95, so essentially £10, and yeah, it's absolute craziness. Recently, I've really rekindled my love for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so I knew as soon as I saw this Turtles 2 Battle Nexus in the shop window of Last Level Games, I had to pick it up. This is a game that's getting rarer and rarer. I think the Battle Nexus 3 is incredibly expensive now, but yeah, this was £15. It is not complete, but as I said, this is getting a game that is harder to pick up, so very happy to add this into my collection. If you've not played it before, it's kind of a classic arcade turtle style game, and also it does have the original arcade game on the disc as an unlockable, so yeah, very happy to add this to my collection. Cowabunga indeed. I genuinely could not believe when I walked into Beatniks the games I saw behind the shelf. You know, that copy of Metroid Fusion was essentially mint, but it was nearly 90 quid. That is a lot, and it's a game I don't have the biggest like retro nostalgia for. I never actually played that game back in the day, but there was some fantastic Pokemon games. I had to pick some of these up as the price was just fantastic. So first off, we have Pokemon White, which you can see is £27.95. So if you bought this in CX today, it is £45. That's nearly 2/3 we paid for it, and this thing is in amazing condition. We have the booklet. It is a legitimate cartridge. There's a lot of fake cartridges around at the minute. This one is definitely legit. So yeah, really happy to pick this one up for a lot better price than I would have paid in CX. And because I picked up Pokemon White, I felt it was only right to pick up Pokemon Black as well. When I pick these games up, I love to get the sets, you know, red and blue, black and white. Just kind of is cool to have the two collections together, especially when me and my wife normally play through these games in parallel. This one again was £29.95. As of today in CX, this game is £46. So again, we paid like 2/3 of the CX price, which is absolutely fantastic because again, this thing is in amazing condition. It has all the booklets inside here, just like Sod's Law. The Pokemon Black is right at the back, but it's literally so complete. You know, you have all of these leaflets that came in the original release of the game, but that is what matters. The original instruction version and the original cartridge, and yeah, paid an amazing price for not one, but two Pokemon games. It takes me one step closer to catching them all. There we have it then, folks. That is another week of game hunting, and you know, you can't win them all. It would have been amazing to pick up that copy of Metroid Fusion, but we have to have our limits, and I'm really happy the bits I added to my growing collection this week. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please hit a like. Please subscribe, as I'll be back very soon with some amazing game hunting videos. Thank you again for watching, and as always, keep playing the game. See y'all soon.